We have not lost the aspect of architecture being the process of crafting buildings and using the art that we have on a creative basis to make sure that buildings are not just produced from a 3D program and then you press repeat and there's the facade coming out. It's a process of ensuring that every detail is executed to the finest detail. Obviously those projects don't pay, I can tell you that. But it excites me to find that architects are still, courageous enough not to just be happy with the fact that you can go to the next builder's warehouse and get a product, or to the next, furniture shop, but to actually work on how do I put this building together so that it lives up to my design aspirations.
I think we saw a lot of sustainable designs, a lot of innovative design to make our buildings more energy efficient, less dependent on the grid, and that was quite positive. Lots of these buildings, even from the very high technical buildings to your housing, etc. That was really a common thread in the industry. Take ownership of our climate and our current weather situations and the dependency on our grid. We don't want, or a lot of people say that it's not reliable anymore, so they go to renewable energy. Lots of solar, gas, and then also thermal treatment to the buildings. I really picked that up, and that really excites me. And a lot of these architects did it very cleverly, hidden away. Aesthetically, you don't see it, so surfaces doesn't need to be ugly.
I think mainly the use of natural materials and and being very careful in the materials that you choose to build with, but natural and sustainable materials, and a consideration for the landscape.
What excites me is architects doing a job that is complex, and they can make it look simple and straightforward. And once you're starting to get into the complexity of what they achieve, they are so good that they make it as if it's nothing. It's like any good sports person or anybody good at what they're doing. It makes, as all of us in this room can do it effortlessly. That's what excites me.
The current trend that excites me is the way the young and coming architects have taken the new technology, the turnaround time, how they play around with open space to address the needs of the community and the clients. That's unlike your conventional drawing and the old type, old-fashioned architectural.
Awards in themselves perhaps become an outcome of a process whereby architects are in a position to even present those products or those buildings. The bigger problem we have is that I don't think a lot of smaller architects who are running smaller practices even have the time nor the resources to actually submit their projects. And I would like these awards to keep reminding architects, to even reminding even our institute, South African Institute of Architects, to reach out and find ways to encourage even younger architects.
I don't know whether I'm going to answer your question, but what I think we saw during the past 3 weekends is I saw architecture of extreme design quality and in terms of construction. And even the most technical, complex building, a lot of the times I did ask the question, what was the local component? What local tradesmen did you use, etc.? And 90% of the people said that, or the architects said that we've got the skills in the country. And 90% sometimes, if it was in a rural area, they would use local people, and there was skills transfer. So even on the office blocks, the comment we got was that every tradesman that walks out of the buildings walks out with a set of skills that they can actually apply somewhere else. So I really have hope for our country. I really think we are a country that can still do. We can create these beautiful, magnificent buildings, and we don't necessarily have to have all these trades and things from overseas. Yes, some of the material we get from overseas, but it's installed, designed, engineered in South Africa. And that really gave me hope in spite of what people say of our country currently. And I really think it's really a positive thing. It really gave me hope for architecture.
Well, hopefully it will uplift the standards. It will inspire architects to try harder, work harder, try new things, push the limits. You know, people are always inspired if they get an award. I think it's fabulous. The more awards, the better for this business.
Set the trends. And in that sense, it should be prophetic, that it's actually saying this is maybe a way of doing things. It will give people courage to do these things. But it is a prophecy in reverse in a certain sense. Because if you look at it in 10 years' time, it's, oh, it's been done. It's been done. There's the example, there's the benchmark, there's all of that kind of stuff. So I hope it gives people that.
As I've said earlier, the advantage or the benefit of the awards like this is to showcase the profession, you know, to put it out there in public on what architectural as a profession could deliver, rather than going to your non-professionals to put up your building. You know. So it's just a showcasing of the because, you know, we're not talking a lot about the profession. You know, people are not aware of the importance of architectural.
The partnership between the South African Institute and Corobrik is at multiple levels. It's at the level of promoting and supporting the awards as we have them. But it is also at the level of Corobrik supporting students' awards, for example, which are on a yearly basis and which encourage students of architecture to advance in their aspirations to be architects by getting their projects recognized. But I think we should also find a way of making that relationship just go beyond architecture and start saying, how does the corporate world, a professional body like South African Institute of Architecture, and society relate? And I mean, this is an off-the-cuff response. We've not discussed it to that extent, but I'm of the view that the more we are moving towards buildings that are sustainable and buildings that have got a social impact, we've got to start bringing in how do we integrate communities into our work. For instance, do we ever invite lay people to come to the awards, for example, because the interface between buildings, architecture, design needs to be felt. If we want to promote design and architecture and the built environment in general, how do we promote this to ordinary people?
I think for Corobrik, I mean, it's for I can say from an architect's point of view more than anything else. I think it's just amazing that there are people like Corobrik that is prepared to give such a generous sponsorship for architects to showcase their work. So I think for the architects, it's really a wonderful opportunity to have a sponsorship of Corobrik. And for Corobrik, I think obviously it's part of their marketing profile. They get visibility and an acknowledgement in the fact that they do contribute to the architectural industry.
As a leading clay brick manufacturer in South Africa, We advocate good quality, integrity, and professionalism. That forms the cornerstone of our relationship with the SAIA. Corobrik has invested a lot in technology and in personnel. So we believe that the SAIA, or architects in South Africa, can deliver and produce good quality buildings using our products. So that is the cornerstone of this relationship.
I'm always skeptical when we talk about architecture and SAIA and we talk about brands. I know it's a trendy thing to do, but we're a professional body that promotes architecture, that ensures that architects can perform in the best interest of their clients, but also in order to be able to sustain themselves. That's a role of SAIA, to also ensure that we uphold the highest professional standards possible, and advocate for architecture to be a profession of integrity. That's our role. So whether that's a brand or not, I don't know, but I think that the awards become therefore the expression of how that manifests itself in the buildings we produce. And I mean, we're very excited and would be very sad if Corobrik would not want to do this anymore, because I think it's a very important partnership that we have, and the awards have become part and parcel of the life of the Institute and of the professional body. So I think that for me, it is very important that we maintain that relationship as best as we can. But I think the built environment in general should be our partners in terms of making sure that we have a credible profession, we act with integrity, and we subscribe to the responsibilities that architects have to ensure that the client gets the best out of the investment they put into their buildings, and we should advise them accordingly. That's our role. That's how I see the role of the Institute in advocating and promoting architecture, and ensuring that the universities also play their role in producing architects that have got that sensibility that I would like to see happen, because architecture is about being sensitive about the human condition. People have got different tastes, but at the end of the day, buildings are a very, very important component of the economy and of society. And we have to make sure that we practice architecture in a responsible manner.
I think for SAIA it's very important to promote architects, specific architects, and the architects in the industry. I think SAIA is for the architects, not that they don't want to look at the other professions within the design industry, but I think really it's an opportunity to promote architects and architecture and make it more visible to the public. And I think this way, I think with the fact that it gets exhibited, it gets shown, I think it makes people aware that the fact that they are architects and you can utilize them, and they do have value.
The purpose is to showcase the talent provided by architects and to showcase brand Corobrik as a preferred supplier to the built environment. As our motto says, let's build a better tomorrow together.